Have you ever wondered how small a chip has to get before things start to feel magical? Well, Apple might be about to answer that with something wild, a 2-nanometer chip. Yes, 2 nanometers. That's the rumor surrounding Apple's A20 chip. Expected to launch with the iPhone 18 Pro and Pro Max in 2026. And if what we're hearing is true, this could be the biggest upgrade Apple has made to its chips in years. But wait, we haven't even seen the iPhone 17 yet, right? That's true. The iPhone 17 is expected later this year, with the regular models possibly using the same chip as the iPhone 16. The Pro models, though, are expected to get something a bit more powerful, likely the A18 Pro built on a second-generation 3-nanometer process known as N3E. Then, the next step will be the A19 chip for the iPhone 17 Air, another new model in the lineup. This chip will still be based on a 3-nanometer process, but with improvements under a version called N3P. So, where does the A20 chip stand? Here's where things get exciting. According to analyst Jeff Pugh, Apple's A20 chip is expected to use the 2-nanometer process, which is being developed by TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. This new process is referred to as N2, and it's completely different from the current generation. What does that mean in simple words? The A20 chip could be 15% faster than the A19, while using 30% less power. That could translate to smoother performance and longer battery life, which is exactly what many iPhone users have been asking for. But there's more to it than just shrinking the chip. Apple is also said to be redesigning how the chip is built, using something called wafer-level multi-chip module, or WMCM. This new technique places the memory directly onto the chip wafer, right next to the CPU, GPU, and neural engine. That means data moves faster between them, and the chip runs cooler because the signals don't have to travel far, and that leads to even better battery life and performance. Everything's just working closer together more efficiently. So far, Apple hasn't confirmed anything, but this info isn't coming out of nowhere. It was first seen on Chinese social media, but now with Jeff Pugh's report, it's gaining more weight. To give you an idea of the timeline, the iPhone 18 Pro with this A20 chip is expected in 2026. That's still a bit far off, and before that, Apple will launch the iPhone 17 series. The most interesting model there might be the iPhone 17 Air, rumored to be a super thin phone that takes on Samsung's Galaxy S25 Edge. And speaking of Samsung, let's not forget they're about to launch the Galaxy Z Fold 7 in July. That phone will reportedly use the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy, the same chip as in the Galaxy S25. There's also talk that Apple could introduce its first foldable phone around the time of the iPhone 18. A book-style foldable. Like the Galaxy Z Fold, with the new A20 chip would be a massive step forward for Apple. It's still early, but one thing's clear. If Apple really launches a 2-nanometer chip with redesigned packaging, the iPhone 18 Pro could be one of its most advanced phones ever, not just in speed, but in efficiency and battery life, which is something we all care about. What do you think? Would better battery life and cooler performance make you upgrade? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest Apple leaks and tech news. Is Samsung playing it too safe with the Galaxy Z Fold 7? That's what many fans are starting to ask after a new leaked photo of the upcoming foldable surfaced online. The image, which appeared on the Chinese platform Weibo, shows a device that looks strikingly similar to last year's Galaxy Z Fold 6. And naturally, that's left a lot of people wondering, what's really new this time? From what we can see in the leaked image, the Fold 7 doesn't offer a major visual shift. The camera layout, rear panel design, and overall shape seem nearly identical to its predecessor. While some users might appreciate this familiar look, others were clearly hoping for something more exciting, especially considering the fast pace at which smartphone design usually evolves. But that doesn't mean Samsung hasn't made any changes. In fact, there are some subtle design tweaks that might make a big difference in everyday use. One of the more noticeable ones is the shift away from the metallic borders seen on the Fold 6. Instead, the Fold 7 might be getting a titanium backplate. This new material could help make the phone slimmer and noticeably lighter, which is a big plus for a foldable device that already leans toward the bulky side. Another minor change is the repositioning of the camera flash. It has reportedly been moved slightly lower, which isn't a groundbreaking change by any means, but it does show Samsung is still refining the small details. There's also a new color option in the works, a soft, icy blue finish. It's clean, subtle, and different from the typical black or gray shades we've seen before, so it might attract users who want something a little more refined. Still, most of these visual changes are quite minimal, and that might be disappointing for those who were hoping for a fresh, bold look. But while the design doesn't scream innovation, the real story might be what's happening inside the device. Based on multiple reports, the Galaxy Z Fold 7 will likely come with an 8.2-inch inner screen and a 6.5-inch outer screen. Both are said to be slightly taller and wider than the Fold 6, which could improve usability without making the phone feel too bulky. The inner display might also come with a reduced crease, which has been a long-standing issue with foldables. Performance-wise, Samsung isn't holding back. The Fold 7 is expected to be powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processor, branded here as the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy. That should offer noticeable gains in speed and power efficiency. As for the camera, we could be looking at a 200-megapixel main sensor, yes, 200 megapixels, which could bring major improvements in photo detail and clarity. The battery is likely to stay at 4,400 mAh, which isn't a massive jump, but should still support a full day of use with some careful management. Combined with a thinner frame and lighter build, Samsung seems focused on refining the user experience rather than reinventing it. Of course, the challenge with these kinds of upgrades is that many of them won't be obvious at first glance. And that might explain why some fans are feeling underwhelmed. If you care about internal performance, durability, and usability, the Fold 7 might be one of the best foldables yet. But if you were expecting a bold new design, this version may fall short of those expectations. The official reveal isn't far off. Samsung is expected to launch the Galaxy Z Fold 7 in early July at its Summer Galaxy Unpacked event. That's when we'll get all the confirmed specs, new features, and most importantly, the price tag. So what's your take on all this? Do you think these upgrades are enough to call it a true next-gen foldable? Or does it feel more like a Fold 6.5 then? A Fold 7? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Could Samsung be finally turning things around with its own Exynos chips? After years of trailing behind Qualcomm's Snapdragon processors, it looks like Samsung might be planning a strong comeback with the Exynos 2600. This new chip is rumored to power at least some models of the upcoming Galaxy S26 series, and for once, it may actually be able to compete. In the past, Samsung has struggled to keep Exynos on the same level as Snapdragon. Part of the problem hasn't been the chip's design, but more about how it's manufactured. The Exynos 2500 was originally expected to debut in the Galaxy S25 lineup, but that never happened. The main issue came from Samsung Foundry, the part of the company responsible for making the chips. They couldn't produce enough working units because of low yield rates, meaning too many chips in each batch were faulty or unusable. However, recent reports suggest that Samsung's chip-making process is finally improving. The company's new 2-nanometer technology is starting to show better results. Yield rates have reportedly reached between 40% and 50%, and while that's not perfect, it's much better than before. In the world of chip manufacturing, 60% is often considered the point where mass production becomes reliable. Samsung is aiming to reach that target by November 2025, just in time to start producing the Exynos 2600 in larger quantities. If they succeed, there's a real chance that the Galaxy S26 series will bring back Exynos chips, at least in some regions. This wouldn't be the first time Samsung used different processors in the same phone depending on where it's sold. For example, the Galaxy S22 series shipped with Exynos in some parts of the world and Snapdragon in others.